And we have an expert in the art of mask wearing and applying the mask.
We're going to seg right now to our segment that we do with the Guam Nurses Association. Good morning, by the way. It's 6:48. This is the link on the Breeze 93.9, proudly brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, Calvo Enterprises, and IT&E, where we do this weekly segment with the Guam Nurses Association, Bri.
It's the network of nurses, and today's featured guest is Rose Loveridge. Her primary job is with the Guam Community College Nursing. She's a nursing professor there. Right. But currently, since the start of the pandemic, she has been the Department of Public Health and Social Services Medical Triage Call Center registered nurse. So thank you, Rose, and welcome to The Link.
Good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning. Top of the morning.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
From New Zealand, not Ireland.
Oh, sorry. How are we doing, Rose?
Yes.
We're doing good. Right on.
Well, I'd be doing better, I think, if I was in New Zealand, because they're doing really well.
Yeah, they are.
With the COVID pandemic.
Hopefully you can sprinkle some of that.
As well.
Right. I wish you could sprinkle some of that New Zealand Hobbit dust on us. And
so do I.
So we're bringing
you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Rose, and we're bringing you on. It was kind of interesting to do a demonstration on how to properly put on the mask, right?
Yeah. A few things, but I suppose what I wanted to do was bring you to class today, and you're going to be my students, and I'm going to teach you how to correctly put on a mask.
Okay.
Quickly, before I do that, I do want to give a shout out to our heroes at the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, everybody that's working their butts off inside the hospital right now. As you heard from Dr. Uggan, it's extremely difficult conditions. Shout out to first responders. I don't think I've heard so many sirens in all my 25 years here on Guam than I have in the last few months. And a shout out to my hero nursing students who put their books and their pens down on March the 16th and didn't hesitate to get out there and help Guam. So most of my nursing students are working for the public health in the quarantine facility, the isolation facility, the airport, and the port. And a handful of them are expert swabbers, so they do the COVID swabbing at their outreaches. So I'm extremely, extremely proud of everything they've done, because they did what they should do as a nurse and get out there and help the community. So anyway, I'm going to bring you guys to class today. I want to show you a couple of pictures, and I think you guys, I hope you're going to get the answers right that I'm going to ask you.
Right. Do we raise our hand? Wait, I didn't know there was going to be a test, first of all. I didn't study.
Yeah, there's going to be, you're in class today.
Yes, Chris is cheating. I brought it.
Okay. I'm going to show you pictures of the World Wide Web, but they're from Guam. I'm going to show you a picture and tell me if you, during PCOR 1 that we're in, is there anything wrong? Do you see anything wrong with this picture?
Ooh.
No mask.
Yeah.
Okay, it's taken on the beach in Guam in PCOR 1.
Wow.
PCOR 1 means, what does it mean when you go to the beach?
That
it
your
means
dog,
you go to the beach
and
you exercise. Does that look like exercise?
Looks like
it could be a static vertical hold.
So look at that picture.
Oh, no, they've got...
Now look at this picture. This also was on the World Wide Web. This is GDOE. What's wrong with that picture?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a hint.
Oh,
Do you see that? That's a big hint.
Yep.
All right. So as I tell my students, Houston, we have a problem. So we need to learn how to put on masks correctly, because to wear a mask is not wearing a mask under your nose or under your chin. That is not how you wear a mask. The ideas of wearing a mask is that we protect our nose and our mouth, because the virus can enter our nose and our mouth, and the virus can exit our nose and our mouth. So I dropped off your early Christmas presents the other day. Do you have your masks?
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
we do.
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, These are surgical masks. We don't endorse everybody to wear them, but because people do wear them incorrectly in the community, not just in Guam, it's important that we understand how to wear them. So what do you notice when, oh, quick question. This is for you, Chris, because I know you'll know the answer. What should you do before you come near your face? Before we even put our mask on, what should we do?
We should wash our face, wash our hands.
Wash your face. Definitely wash your hands. Okay,
Right.
You want clean hands when you're going to be putting your hands near your face.
I
Wash
feel
your
bad because I'm
hands.
kind of like the wash your hands guy, so I should have got that one.
You are the wash
Yeah.
the hands guy. And so then you can pick up your mask. And now look at your mask. What do you see? Two sides, two different colors. And this is where people go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's called show your colors. You want to show your color. Wear the color on the outside because there's a protective coating on the outside, and that's the color, the shiny side. And the other side goes against your face, and it has got more absorbent material that absorbs your breath because your breath is moist. Then we have our earpieces that everybody knows about now. But when you touch this mask, do you feel something floppy on one side and something stiff on the other?
Yes, miss.
Yes. Good little student. So that's a metal bar, a slight metal bar. It's very flexible. And that is what's going to go over your nose. You must mold this mask over your nose. So the bridge of your nose, about halfway up. Some people, I don't know why, but they wear masks at the tip of their nose. Well, useless. You've got to put it on over your nose. So go ahead and get your mask and hold it by the earpieces and put one over one ear, stretch it across your face over the other side, and you now have your mask on, but it's not on correctly yet. Now you're going to do the pincer movement, little crab, with your fingers, and you're going to put it where you're halfway over your nose, and you're going to push against that metal, and you're going to mold it over your nose. You can use 2 index fingers if you want, and mold it across your face. And the idea is to create a seal as much as possible so that droplets don't go down in front of your eyes and down inside your nose that way. Then, while holding your nose, pull the mask under your chin. And that way, you have a good coverage on your face to protect. What are we trying to protect? Our nose and our mouth. And that's it. You've got your mask on and you're ready to go.
A+.
Miss, do we get an A?
Yes, you're going to get a chocolate fish. That's what we give out in New Zealand. Chocolate. Yeah. So now let's fast forward into the future when we are allowed to go back to restaurants, which is one of my pet hates at the moment. No offense to the restaurants. They're doing all the right things, cleaning their equipment, spacing out the tables. All employees have their masks on. But I've only been to one restaurant in the last 6 months. And that was just before the lockdown. We went back to PCOR 1. And I'm not an anxious person, but I was so anxious going into the restaurant where everybody had their mask off. People, if you go to a restaurant, keep your mask on while you order your food to protect your server. Don't remove your mask until you're ready to eat. Take off your mask, eat, and put your mask back on. Do not sit at the table chatting away without your mask on. It's frustrating to see. So now I've got to teach you how to take off your mask, especially if you go to a restaurant. So I recommend taking a little sandwich bag, because if you think about the outside of the mask, this is what we call contaminated. It's got the virus, possibly, hopefully not, but it's got bacteria, it's got stuff on the outside of it. So one quick thing is when you're touching your mask, don't touch your mask. Try to avoid touching your mask. If your mask is loose, you're going to be touching it and trying to pull it up on your face. And what have you done? You have contaminated your hands. So if you touch your mask, you need to wash your hands, because think of this as dirty. This is dirty.
Dirty mask. Right.
So when we go to a restaurant, we don't want to just take off our mask and put it on the table. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So let's take it off. So take it off by the loops. Do not touch the front of your mask. You just take it off by the loops, fold it in half, don't touch it at all, and put it inside your little plastic baggie. Then put it in your handbag, ladies, or gentlemen, put it in the back of your pocket or on the corner of the table, but away, at least it's covered and it's away from where, because remember the outside of it's dirty. Don't squeeze all the air out of it because then you're going to release particles. Just close it. It doesn't have to be Ziploc. It could just be a plastic bag, but contain it while you eat. I recommend once you've taken off your mask, you should also use your hand sanitizer. I carry around a little tiny one that I just fill up at home when I need to, and hand sanitize, and then eat your food.
What are we eating?
How's that? Wow, chicken calaguin, my favorite.
Wow, yeah.
I have a question.
Teacher,
ma'am.
Sabrina has a question. Teacher, Miss. Sabrina has a
Certainly,
question.
Sabrina.
I carry around just alcohol, not like whiskey or tequila.
Yeah,
or
she
anything. I'm
actually
talking
does
about
carry
like
around.
the spray bottle of alcohol. Is that just as effective as hand sanitizer or no?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It will dry out your hands. There's alcohol in hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Right.
But alcohol is just as effective, if not more effective, than the hand sanitizer. So yes, definitely wash your hands.
What?
Now, a big thing with hands is if your hands are visibly soiled, and even let's say I cough on my hand, cough, I can't really cough. So you can't see the cough, you can't see the spit on your hands. The last thing you want to do is get hand sanitizer and rub that spit all over your hand. If your hands are visibly soiled, or if you cough, because you don't know, you can't see what came out of your mouth, you need to wash your hands with soap and water. Don't use hand sanitizer and spread it all over your hands when they're dirty. I do have to say I'm really proud of seeing the little children out there. I haven't seen many of them lately, but when you go out, and the parents have done such a great job. I've seen some little children with their hand sanitizer tied to their top and wearing their tiny little masks, and you know, it sort of really makes you so proud of people when they're doing that. I suppose I should tell you that I work at the call center right now. I also work for Guam Community College, and for the last 6 months, I've also been on the call center. Myself and another fellow nurse, Barbara Marfness, we're at the call center. Barbara is a breastfeeding expert, so if there's any mums out there that, you know, you're isolated, you're not sure what to do, please call us, and Barbara will help you with any concerns you have, especially with the breastfeeding of your newborns. And Chris, do you have a question?
Yes, Miss, I have a question. What is the
Yes.
order of cleanliness when it comes to using the wipes, using hand sanitizer, or washing your hands?
Hand washing is the number one thing. Hand washing with soap and water creates friction and really removes particles. Hand sanitizer can be used, you're quickly dashing into the shop and you can clean your hands as you go into the shop, hand sanitize because you don't have a sink around you. Wipes, do you mean like cleaning wipes, like Clorox wipes?
I mean the ones that
Or
smell like
hand washing.
they smell like the operating room. They're like 70%.
Aloe vera.
No,
The
the
alcohol wipes.
the cleaning wipes. Yeah.
This wipes?
There,
Oh,
hold up,
cleaning wipes. Yeah. Cleaning wipes, not necessarily for your hands to be washed. You don't wash your hands with like Clorox wipes, but you would use those to clean down any surfaces. At the call center, if I had to hand my phone over to somebody else, I would never hand it over without wiping it down before I pass it to my colleague, because you have to think of the germs on this phone can be transferred very closely. So we are very particular. We wipe down everything, keyboards, mouse, everything you touch should be wiped, especially if that doesn't belong in your house. You should wipe it down before your colleague comes and touches it, or keep everything individual for individual use if you can. So hand washing is so important, but so is social distancing and, of course, wearing a mask. But wearing a mask correctly is so important. It's no use if it's dangling off your face. What's the point? It's no use if it's hanging off your nose. What's the point? The point is to cover your mouth and nose at all times to protect those around you.
Rose, I have a question, and of course, me being me in class, I'd like to go for extra credit.
Oh, God. Yep. Yeah.
I'm that kid,
Absolutely.
right? Okay, so
Jason,
yeah,
I'm
curious.
Extra credit.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious about what the typical turnover time should be, like with the masks that you've very generously given us. How long can we use them before we are to discard them in a safe way? And also, what if we want to do something like, what if we want to double up on masks? Like we have like those nice black foam ones, and we put those underneath and put the surgical one over the top. Does that make any difference? So I asked a two-part question because, again, I'm the extra credit kid.
Yes, of course. Thank you for all those questions, Jason. Well, the surgical mask should be just used for. They're obviously very clean. A brand new one is cleaner than the one that you have been wearing all day, a material one, right? So these would be used for maybe people that are going to have surgery, or maybe go and have dialysis, or they're disposable. They can be thrown away. You can wear them. I would wear them for the whole day if they're not wet inside. Sometimes, let's say I'm going to jump in the car, and I'm not wearing my mask in the car. If I'm on my own in the car, I don't have to. If there's nobody else in the car, I don't have to wear a mask. But when I get to my destination, I'm going to wash my hand sanitize, put on my mask, go into the store, buy my supplies, come back to the car, and then I take off my mask. And I put it on the dashboard with the clean side up so that the sunlight can dry the mask. And that way I can use it all day long. Because what do we have in Guam? We have sunlight. So that's good heat for killing the bacteria. I wouldn't necessarily dangle it over my rear vision mirror, because what is it perhaps doing? Waving itself around. Put it somewhere so it's stationary and let it just dry in the sun. But it's not even wet, but you don't have to keep it on your face all the time.
The only thing I let dangle from my rearview mirror is my graduation tassel.
And I think he's got the.
Congratulations!
Yeah, and I graduated 28 years ago, so like again, I'm that guy.
I have a question, teacher.
Yes, student.
Face shields. Do you recommend the use of face shields?
Yes, because what are you trying to protect? You're trying to protect your eyes from the virus as well. While I don't recommend you go and buy 6 million of them, one face shield can be easily wiped with Clorox, wiped down and reused. And I have a face shield and I keep it in my car. And when I go to the grocery store, I put on my mask and my face shield because I don't want to get sick. I'll do whatever it takes to not get this virus. And if that includes wearing a face shield or glasses, or glasses are okay, but if you look at the side, I don't know if you can see this up, the virus can get in, right? So there's also goggles, eye goggles, and I know Royal Bix in Tamuning was selling face masks and eye goggles and things like that. If I was going to fly on an airplane, number one, you'd have to pay me $1 million to get on an airplane, because I don't want to go anywhere where it puts me at risk for catching this virus. But if I was to get on an airplane, I would wear a mask and a face shield. I wouldn't take it off for forever while I'm on a flight. Yes, student. Little Chris, how can I help you?
Miss, do you recommend the use of a scuba mask? because you talked about the side protection, and I know that my snorkeling mask seals off my.
Yes, sure. I definitely recommend the use of a scuba mask under the ocean. So it helps you see the fish.
Okay.
But a scuba mask, it would be very tight around your face and uncomfortable. But if that's all you've got, go for it.
I'm sorry, I have another
There's
question.
no right and wrong.
I have another question, and this I wear glasses, but it's really hard for me because when I wear my mask, it fogs. Is there any? Is it something I'm doing wrong with the mask? Am I wearing it wrong?
Yes, that's a common problem. So what you want to try and do is create a good seal around the top of your mask, because if there's not a good seal, as you breathe out, that air comes up and fogs your glasses.
Okay.
So try to create a better seal.
Okay.
If you have a handmade mask, for example, I really should get Barbara Martinus, the mask designer, on to tell me these things. But something like a handmade mask, to really secure the nose part, you can sew down this way a little bit and also double sew across it. And that makes it a little bit more firmer over your nose.
I see.
And because if it's too loose, hang on, I'm going to fog up my glasses. I don't know. Oh, they're fogging up for me, but you probably can't see it. It's your breath, obviously, that fogs it up. So there's a leak, they're going to fog up your glasses.
So you really have to see
Try
it.
to wear the surgical mask today, Sabrina, and push that against your nose, the wire, and see if that helps the fog.
Yeah.
All right.
If it doesn't, I have duct tape. I'm sorry. If it doesn't, I have duct tape.
Chris, if you're going to ask a question, please put up your hand.
Sorry, miss.
Very good.
Sorry, miss.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I'm wondering, do you know the difference between isolation and quarantine?
Yes.
Sabrina, 5
Quarantine.
extra points for you.
Isolation is when you actually have like COVID or an infection, and then you have to isolate yourself away from everybody else. Quarantine is when you are placed in a certain location, like at Outrigger, to see if you have the virus and develop, or contract the virus.
Okay. And not just quarantine at the Outrigger.
Yeah,
where
at home or...
I wouldn't mind going for 2 weeks. I'm not going to complain. I want 2 weeks off. I haven't had any time off in 6 months. Please send me to the Doosa. I want to sleep for 2 weeks. But, okay, getting back to quarantine, I'm off the track. So every day in the call center, every day, multiple times throughout the day, well, not help, but somebody in my family has the virus, or somebody at my other half's work's got the virus. Where can I get tested? Every day, where can I get tested? Where can I get tested? So our role on the call center is to help educate, to obviously pick up anybody that needs our help quickly, like if they're short of breath, and to help alleviate the fears, and then to help settle down those fears. So isolation would be somebody who has got COVID virus. They go to the clinic, they get tested, and people, you're meant to go home. If you get a COVID test, please go home and stay home until you know your result. Don't go to work and then find out your result is positive and now you've infected all your workmates. You have to stay home until you get your result. If you're not feeling well, and many people, they're clever, right? They know I don't feel well. That's why they went and got a COVID test. Then isolate yourself in your room away from the rest of your family until you know your result, so that you protect your family. So isolate means exactly that. Isolate away from everybody else. So if I got the virus, and let's say I had a rapid test, I went to the clinic and I have my result right now and I know what it is, I'm going to come home. I'm going to put on my mask and walk in my house and go straight to my room and shut the door. Stay inside your room. Now, in the most ideal world, it would be great to have bedroom with a bathroom and ensuite attached to it. And that's the best place you can stay for the next 2 weeks, inside that room, away from your family. Quarantine, we call self-quarantine, is the rest of the family members. They haven't been tested yet. They're not positive. So they have to quarantine themselves away from you. You're in your room with your doors shut. So they can carry on their life together inside the house. But again, if possible, not congregate together too much. The person who's in isolation, and it's not easy, and you'll hear that probably from your guests who come on who've had the virus, you have to protect everybody else in your house at all costs. So stay in your room. If you have to open the door of your room as an infected person, you must wear your mask. How do I get food when I'm locked up in a room? Well, not locked, but in a room. Well, what we recommend is have a chair outside the door so that the family member can get your food and deliver it and put it on the door wearing a mask. The family member should wear a mask as they approach your room. They're not coming in your room. They're just coming to the outside of your room. Put the food on a chair and go far, far away. Then the infected person puts on their mask, opens the door, gets their food, brings it in and shuts the door again. You have to isolate yourself from everybody. You can't open the door with your mask on and talk to your family members. If you can, text them or call them or FaceTime them or whatever, but try to avoid as much contact from an infected person to a possibly non-infected person. Then what else with isolation? What do I do with my washing? Well, I'm isolated in my room. I don't have a washing machine in my bedroom. So we recommend that you put your clothes into a trash bag. So limit the amount of times that door opens and closes between you and your quarantined family. So while I deliver your meal tray, I'll put a plastic bag on it for your washing. And so when you take it in, the door's opened once and I take the food tray and the washing plastic bag and shut the door. Then over the course of a day or so, I'll put my dirty washing in there. And then next time I'm going to give open the door for food or open the door to return my dirty cutlery, then I'll give my clothing over. Then the clean person on the other side, your family member who you don't want to infect, put on long laundry gloves and take that laundry to the washing machine. Now, when I recommend that you put your soap into the machine first before you even come near it with the dirty clothes. So limit the amount of time you're exposed to that washing machine. Don't lean over it and dump the clothes in because the dust and particles can come onto your face. So stand back a little bit and you can gently take the clothes out of the trash bag and into the washing machine, close the lid, hand sanitize or hand soap and water the outside of those gloves because you're going to reuse those, and push the button, wash your hands, or even grab a wipe and wipe down any surfaces on the washing machine that you've touched and do the washing. Yes, Chris, you have a question?
Teacher, Miss, how hot is that laundry 1 to 10 in terms of how infectious it is? Because I didn't even think about that and you're scaring me.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm scaring you, Chris. I am so impressed with your questions. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you, teacher.
Sorry?
Thank you, Miss.
Oh, you want my answer?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah? Okay, so warm water. The CDC. Now, I'm not making anything up here, guys. This is all on the CDC website. Now, I'm pretty clever these days. That's Charlie, Delta, Charlie, dot, gecko, octopus, Victor. We add our little twists to the alphabet here. We're doing our Guam impression. So the CDC website has all of this available. So if you have any questions that I can't answer for you today, go to the Dr. Google and ask Dr. Google, what do I do? When should I get tested? Any questions you have, hit enter and choose the options that says CDC. You don't want to choose the option that says Disneyland. You want to choose a website that's an educational, scientific website. So getting back to your question, Chris, is use warm water, at least warm water, if it's for infected clothing. I mean, you can wash your own clothes with, CDC says, you can wash your clothes with my infected clothes. They also say if you can dry them on a warm or hot cycle without shrinking everything. Cleaning also, going back to cleaning, your masks, these reusable masks, you should wash them every day. Don't throw them in the washing machine with your dirty undies. Hand wash these and hang them out overnight and they will be dry by the morning. But don't reuse them because remember, without washing them, because remember your spit, your breath, everything is on the inside. And remember, everything you've been exposed to is on the outside. So hand wash them in warm soapy water and they'll go a long way. They'll last you a long time.
All right. Thank you so much, Nurse Loveridge. We've got to move on to our next guest. Is there any final tips, lesson that you'd like to pass along to our viewers?
Just keep safe. Please stay home. We have to lock this island down. We have to do better than we're doing. I suppose, what can we say? We've been doing this for a while now. If you have any questions, please call the hotline. We get all sorts of questions. We're willing to help you. We will bend over backwards to help you if you're, need our assistance in terms of your stress, you need assistance. Call 311 option 1. If that doesn't work, you can't get through to us because the voicemail box is full sometimes. Call us directly and we will pick up the phones. And stay safe, Guam. Wear a mask and wash your hands. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was really informative.
That was
really,
great.
really appreciate the information. Thank you. Oh, I'm
There's
sorry.
a lot more to say, actually.
Little Chris has another question.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Sorry. You have a question?
Did we get an A?
Of course you got an A.
right.
A plus.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you,
Thank
miss.
you.
Right on.
Yeah, and now that you guys did so well, you're going to come and be my nursing students, okay? 'Cause
I'm
we've got to
down.
get
Let's
more
go.
nurses out there.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Let me
a
get some
lot.
Crocs first.
Okay, you guys take care. I
Take
still
care.
wanted to go over the COVID alert app, but we ran out of time.
Wait, I'm sorry. We
Yeah.
got you though. We'll go over it for you. Thank
What
you.
was that?
Thank you, nurse. We got you. We'll go over it for it.
Thanks,
Okay.
nurse.
Thanks, Rose.
Thank you.
Great
Francis.
class. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, see you guys. Have a
Okay,
good day
Miss
and keep
Rose.
safe.
Right on. There you go.
All right, that was our latest installment of Network of Nurses in partnership with the Guam Nurses Association, which was incorporated in 1951 and has been a constituent member of the American Nurses Association since 1968. So thank you so much to Suzanne Louboutin, who helped facilitate this segment, and we'll have it here on the link every Thursday.
That was so nice to get back in that classroom setting.
I know. I bet you were a little smarty pants, weren't you?
You were sweating in the beginning. I saw you like, oh man, pop quiz.
I
You
think
weren't
I was
so
all my
studious?
teacher's favorites. If you go
Ah,
back.
the
and-
teacher's pet.
No, not the pet, just the favorite.
Oh, I see. Okay.
722.